You know?
Yeah, it was so weird because it was we everybody had gone out for some reason, and everybody was drinking everything, and I remember that I wasn't well, I wasn't a big drinker anyway, but I wasn't drinking that much that night, and the other person was the one that got hammered,
Yeah.
and we went home and got in bed, and she was always weird during the holidays. And all I knew about any of this was that I was told that her father had died from a heart attack, and that's what she told me, and so that's what I went with, that's all. I wasn't any reason there was no reason for me to question any of it, but I just always remember she'd get weird during the holidays, and I figured it was because of her father. It was a tragic heart attack that she said it just came out of nowhere, it happened, and yada yada. And so we get home that one night and we're laying there in bed and she's having one of those moments again. And so I asked her, what is, and so, and just out of nowhere, when and as a police officer, you've probably seen this a million times, when you're talking to somebody and all of a sudden they just kind of go blank
Yes.
and it's just like they become something else. And it was like that. It was like I was talking to somebody completely different all of a sudden. And it was the first confession was, well, my dad didn't really die from a heart attack, and he was he was he was tragically murdered, and all this and all that. And I'm like going, wait, holy shit, what are we talking about here? And then it just went on, how it happened, where
Pretty good
everybody went.
detail.
It was very detailed. I mean, it was very detailed. And I mean, it was the mention of the weapons and just, where he was taken, where he was shot, where this, and this. And
And even who
um,
shot him.
exactly. But we didn't get to that point yet. And then, so she kept on and kept on. And then I finally just, out of nowhere, I just went, wait a minute. And I said, did you pull the trigger? And it was, she would and it just laid there real quiet, and I kept pushing it. I said, did you pull the trigger? Did you shoot him? And I pushed it. And because I was started dicking around with this thing. And finally she went, yeah, I did. And I said, where? And where did you do it? And she told me exactly where it was. It was up in his forehead. And so I thought, how when you go home and you get in bed at night and you're drunk and the room spins, and you
Hmm.
sleep with one foot on the floor, you keep the room from spinning? Well,
Yeah.
that's how I slept that night. Well, I didn't even sleep really. I laid there on the bed, but I had one foot on the floor and I had one eye open.
Yeah,
And I
I'd be
thought,
scared. I'd be
yeah,
scared. I would.
yeah, no shit, I was. And I'm thinking, this person has just dumped just a bucket load of crap on me. And I'm going, what the hell? And so, I carried that around for a little while, not long, and then when you and I were at breakfast that one night, and I thought, I gotta talk to somebody about this, and I figured you'd be the best one to talk to. You being an officer and everything, you might be able to give me some input or some insight or anything. And then you told me you recorded me, and at first I went, oh, you asked, you didn't have to do that. But then after we talked a little later on about it, and, I had to say, I couldn't thank you enough for doing that because you really kind of kept me out of the mix because, like I said, I could have been walking around knowing all this and they could have come back at me and held, said I was an accessory to all that. And
Yeah.
I'm like, But, and then when I sat and I visited with the investigators and I told them the entire story from weapons to this, to this, to this, to this. And when we all got done, they go, well, we know you're telling the truth. And I said, really, how's that? And they pulled that folder out and they started pulling pictures out. There's the baseball bat that was used. It was the exact same color I told them it was. Here's this. Here's this. Here's this. And I'm going, shit. And then they go, now you're not like you don't have a weak stomach or anything, or, and I said, no, not. And so they go, okay, we're going to get into the pictures. And they showed me where they found the body. They showed me the burn spot where they had set him on fire. And then they showed me where the bullet hole was.
Yeah.
In his skull. And that's when I looked at it and I said, when I saw that, and I said, all of a sudden I went, this shit became very real very fast. And I'm going, this was not just some drunken person just babbling about just, whatever they could make up. I mean,
he cleansed her soul to you that night.
It basically, yes,
Yeah.
Pretty much did. And I just was like, what the hell? And it was, yeah, of course, that ended that, because it's like, oh, it's okay. She'll change. She'll be fine. I was like, well, get me the hell out of this shit. I don't know.
That'd be the nicest breakup I ever broke up. Oh, listen, honey, and I've got a lot of problems. I'm the problem in this situation.
Yeah, I'm the problem. It's
I don't want
not
to be
you,
victim
it's
number,
me.
whatever.
No shit. It's not you, it's me. Really, it's me. It's me.
But you know what, Gavin? Here's something good for people that see this, especially if someone tries to cleanse their soul with you. You can't get in trouble as long as you share it with someone. Okay. And I'm going to tell you who you got to have good friends in your life. You got to have an attorney, or you got to have someone in some capacity. Let me say that. Okay. Judicial capacity that you can say, hey, just like you did to me. Now, in the moment, I thought, I'm going to have to explain this to Gavin at some point. I'll cross that bridge whenever I have to cross it, as far as recording you. I did that to absolutely 100% protect you. And, as we talked that morning at breakfast, I said, listen, don't be pissed. This is fucking insurance policy for you. And that's the way you have to look at it. It's an absolute insurance policy. And when I talked to the investigators before we did anything, I said, I've got some recordings, want you to listen to it. You got to give me your word you don't target this guy. Bringing something to light. And I had a good enough position at that time. I was a patrol sergeant. I had a good enough position, a position of trust, where they absolutely honored that.